Kentucky's utility rates could see some future relief under a proposal greenlit in the state Senate. But lowering utility rates is not as simple as passing a bill in Frankfort. But Hazard Senator Brandon Smith believes an overhaul of the Public Service Commission, the body that oversees and sets rates for public utilities, is the next best step. Smith is carrying Senate Bill 8, which makes several reforms, including expanding the board from 3 to 5 members. Important to note, those 3 members are appointed by the governor. The other 2 would be tapped by the auditor. And moving forward, all 5 will need Senate confirmation. The bill sets job requirements going forward for all members to have prior experience in energy or related economic fields. Smith believes taking this step will take politics out of the agency.
We want a diverse board. We want a board that's not dominated by politics, as we've seen some in the past. And we want to make sure that we get the best talent out there and that it's spread out so we have the most thoughtful process to analyze what comes in front of the Public Service Commission.
In the bill's debate on Friday, a section drawing opposition concerning how rate dispute cases are approached was changed. The original proposal limited representation by people bringing those cases to just the Attorney General. Advocates felt like that pushed out nonprofits and other voices for low-income folks. The bill passed on mostly party lines. Senator Thomas, you were one of the folks that voted no on this. I believe Senator Berg made the point that she felt like this creates some political gotchas by moving more responsibilities under the auditor's office. What did you think?
Well, let me say this. I think in terms of the content, the bill was just fine. You mentioned earlier that the concern was about ratepayers. The original bill basically had the people who were complaining about rates having to bringing the cases themselves, which would have been very costly. The bill did get changed after several iterations, and it finally was agreed upon that the Attorney General would bring any rate-paying issues on behalf of the consumers. But, Bodie, I have seen, I'll just talk about myself, time and time again over the last 6 years, actions where the legislature just chips away at the governor's authority. And in this case, why are we getting the state auditor involved in something that's purely an executive function? As you indicated, the board expands from 3 to 5. The governor has historically made all the appointments. Now we're giving the state auditor a chance to make 2. Why is the state auditor involved in something that's primarily an executive function? So that's why you saw the vote primarily along party lines, because again, we're just tired of the legislature just trying to take away authority from the governor.
Representative Bray, what do you think?
I don't think it's a bad idea at all to kind of spread the board appointments out. I'm actually really excited to see that there's going to be 5 now instead of 3, mainly because the Public Service Commission has one of the most important tasks within the state. They're the ones that help set and regulate utility bills, and we need as much expertise there as we possibly can. In my conversations with them, you know, there is a lot of caseload. A lot of expertise that they feel like they have to have. So I do think going forward, it's not a bad thing to spread that out across different administrations, because maybe somebody else brings a different viewpoint than a different constitutional officer. But I'm very glad to see that we're beefing up the Public Service Commission.
So the floor amendment that was passed on Friday to replace that section clarifying who can bring these rate cases, Senator Herron ended up withdrawing her amendments over that. Senator Smith said his intent there was to create some transparency when some bad players drag things out. So the question I have, first, do you think that his floor amendment addressed the issue? And second, is there a point to what Senator Smith is making here, that he believes that there are companies that intentionally make these rate dispute cases a little harder and can ultimately lead to a rising cost? Is that accurate? Have we seen anything like that?
Well, first of all, Senator Herron did vote for the bill. She was a Democrat that did vote for the bill. Right. And again, I respected the fact that she liked the content changes that were being made to, again, give the ratepayers the protection and services of the Attorney General, which is where it should be. I think that was a step in the right direction. Again, the bill is not a bad bill in total, but again, the bill does take a poke and kind of sticks at the governor's office and his authority, and I just don't like that.
What do you think about the point that Senator Smith was making there?
I mean, I think we have seen in the past lawsuits come in from out of state to try to make these things cost as much as they possibly can. We've seen it, when we're talking about decommissioning coal plants. We've seen it about building new generation. Anytime utilities are needing to expand for economic development, there'll be lawsuits filed to try to drag that out and make it as costly as they can. So I do think there's some merit in there, but I do think it's really important at the same time to make sure that we preserve somebody's right to be heard and have their fair day.
We all get to debate